it's almost like putting together a puzzle that
Mhm.
does not have a picture. So, you get all this information and you have to ask information that they don't know they have to give you. If you just listen to what they say, it's not enough. You
Right.
have to have the probing questions that leads you to the answers that you feel you need.
Welcome to the Expert in You podcast, the show for professional entrepreneurs, experts, authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants who are ready to elevate their business, expand their influence, and boost their bank accounts. Join us as we dive deep with industry-leading experts who share their top strategies, invaluable insights, practical tips, and personal experiences to help you achieve extraordinary growth and success. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills, stay ahead of the curve, or find that competitive edge, this podcast is your ultimate resource for unlocking your full potential. So tune in, get inspired, grab your coffee, and let's unlock the expert in you. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Expert in You podcast. I'm your host, Ann Carden. And I have an amazing guest with me today. I am super excited to have Laura Baebler with me from LNB Studios. It's an architecture and design firm. She is the founder and the CEO. And Laura, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited to talk to you because you've done some incredible work. You have been in your business more than 30 years, so you're a true expert. And you're a nationally recognized award-winning architecture and design firm. You're also experts at designing purpose-driven commercial environments to connect people and inspire operational excellence and elevate performance and deliver lasting value. I love that. That's such a different way to look at what you do. So tell me what inspired you to start your business and your firm.
I think my history, where I came from, I'm from Argentina. I'm an immigrant with my parents and family. We came here in 1963. They originated in Italy and lived there for about 10 years. And then, as a lot of immigrants do, they started their own businesses. My mother started a bilingual Montessori preschool in Washington, D.C., and it's still around today. In fact, she's going to be honored next week. And my father started a precast concrete business. And then, when my brother, who's a couple years older than me, also started a computer business in Florida.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So you come from an
So,
entrepreneurial family.
yeah, it's what you do. You go to a different place and you hang your shingle out. Um, and a lot of times I think that, at least from our standpoint, it's because we have a little bit of a different perspective than who's around. And sometimes as an immigrant, especially if you have an accent or something, at least it was back in the 60s, maybe not anymore today because everybody's international today.
Right.
But
Right.
back in the early 60s, you weren't given all the same opportunities,
Mm.
as you would today. So you had to create your own opportunities.
Mhm.
And working in their businesses as I was growing up also influenced my desire to want to do my own thing.
I love it. Do you regret that? I mean, do you think that for you, was that a great move? Was that a great decision? I'm sure you're going to say yes, but could you see yourself doing it any other way?
I really don't. Yeah, I don't think so because it started so long ago, that I wanted to do this. It's from the time I was in college. I
Yes.
knew I wanted to have my own business. And one of the things that really helped push me to think differently in the company was that I did some studying in Europe. My senior year of college in architecture school at Catholic University, I won a design competition, which gave me a semester credit in a master's program. And we went to Italy and Spain.
Mhm.
And when, as a group, we were together at the Laurentian Library, which was designed by Michelangelo,
Mhm.
um, we all left and we were all really crabby and it was odd. It was really strange. And so we started thinking about it. And that building is a Mannerist architecture. And in that style, a lot of elements that are classical clash up against one another. You have arches, but there's not enough space above the arch. You have pediments, and they crash up against other elements. And we started to think, gosh, this really does have an influence on how people feel. Spaces do.
Oh, that's interesting.
It made us feel something that wasn't pleasant. And we all know that there are places that you go that feel pleasant, right? Or
Right.
nice, or inspired, or exciting, or meditative,
Really emotional. We don't think about that though. When we think about spaces, we just, yeah, you really don't give, if you're not in that world, right? You don't give that any thought, but that's so insightful. I think that's for people to really think like that. Yes.
Yeah, it is. And so, when I came back, I wanted to do my master's thesis on the architectural elements and how they affect people. And it was denied because it was too broad, and I couldn't get it done in the amount of time. So I designed an art school, which I studied, places of meditation and inspiration, places of function, right, where you actually did it. And then places, social spaces, which is where you get collaboration and all of that. So I started studying early on, back in the 80s, right? What made these different kinds of emotions and different kinds of spaces, what they had in common that made you have different feelings and different
Ooh,
emotions.
I love
Because
that.
that affects how you work. It affects how you feel, how creative you can be, how focused you are, how distracted you are,
And again, somebody maybe wouldn't give thought to, right?
Right.
But I love how you took the situation and you said, like you felt something with that, and then you actually turned that into your company. I mean, that became your company. It's one of the things that makes you different. I'm just going to read this again for the audience. So now that's going to make sense to them. You're experts in designing purpose-driven, commercial environments to connect people and inspire operational excellence, to elevate performance and deliver lasting value. So now that entire positioning makes so much sense based on what you just told us. That inspired you to really think about the emotion that people feel, and also what's going to make their space inspire people, connect people, elevate performance. And that's really where all of that came from. But I didn't realize the backstory of that. So I love that. I love when people can take something and then it becomes so integrated into what they're doing.
Yeah. And what's really interesting about that is that until you just said that, I didn't really.
You didn't think about it.
I didn't even realize that that's really where it came from.
That's amazing.
This was a little bit of an aha moment for me, and I love aha moments.
Yes, yes. No, and when you see it, when you hear these things, and there's this outside perspective and this outside way of looking at it, right? But yeah, sometimes we don't know why we're doing the things we do or where that came from, really. But it does become integrated into our business, and so you really have done that all the way through. I would have to say, too, I know a lot of people in your space, and I would have to say that really sets you apart. I think most people design spaces, right? Oh, it's about the colors, it's about this, it's about that. And this really, I believe, sets you apart in your industry. When you put these pieces together, the emotional connection, the inspiration, the performance, all of those things, so it isn't just about having a space that feels good. It's about what's going to work best for efficiency and performance and inspire people to rise higher. So did I say that right?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, I love that because that really does set you apart. I haven't heard anyone talk about their business in that way. So I think it's brilliant. It's amazing. So we know how that shaped your vision to really create the kind of spaces that you create today. What types of projects do you like to focus on in your firm? I know you do commercial, and we talked a little bit about, what that looks like, but are there particular industries you like to do projects in? What is your area of focus?
because our vision, or my vision, is for people to be happy in their spaces, right? And it's not that we can make people happy. We can't make people happy, right?
They can be
But we
happier.
can design spaces that supports that,
Yes.
that does not make them unhappy. Being connected is one of the things that makes you happy. And there is a lot of neuroscience and psychology that addresses some of this. So I think that what's most important for us, we typically mostly look for projects where, that serve people, either where people are inside the buildings or that they are around the buildings, which is almost all buildings, right? Unless it's just a warehouse, and even a warehouse has to sit somewhere and has to affect the exterior,
Right.
And because buildings consume energy, all of that is included in part of taking a human approach for building and construction, right? So, ideally, we just focus on those kinds of projects. I mean, we've done some healthcare, we've done some education, some higher ed, and also some worship, churches. We've done a lot of commercial spaces, just workplace. We've done some multifamily and senior living, which are almost like mini cities, just like university
Right.
work is. So you can apply this to so many different, almost any building.
Right. Well, especially when you're talking about, especially commercial, yes.
Right. But it's very important for particularly places where people are healing, or people are trying to be creative, or where they're living or working even, it affects all of those.
Yes. Well, so I just have to say, one of the things that really impressed me also about your firm is you have such a credible portfolio. It spans over 800 projects and clients. So well-known clients in the St. Louis area like BJC Healthcare, New Balance. Now, this was an e-commerce that you did, was beautiful. Washington University in St. Louis, Monsanto, Forest Park Forever. You've done a lot of state and federally funded centers, a lot of municipalities, and so many more. So working with such big names as a smaller firm, what do you think that you do differently from, say, really large firms that have they have so many people working on a project? What's the difference? Why should someone think about an expert firm like yours that's on the smaller side, but you've done some big projects, or going with a really big type of firm or organization?
Well, first of all, their project is incredibly important to us because we don't have, as a smaller firm, we don't go through 100 projects. We don't have hundreds of people doing them.
Mhm.
So first of all, we each have a lot of experience in all aspects of a project, as opposed to somebody who maybe sits in a cubicle and does window details,
Right.
And so a lot of that crossover is important because, as you know, when you have diversity, it fuels innovation and allows you to think outside of the proverbial box, But I think that for the most part, we have to rely on what our clients tell us.
Mhm.
And I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I have 3 quotes that I absolutely love from our clients. Is it okay to
Absolutely
say that?
This is your podcast. Yes.
Okay.
Shine the light on yourself.
Well, so we take our cues from our clients
Mhm.
and from the things that they say about us. And for example, there are 3 in particular that I absolutely love. It makes me just glow with happiness. One of them is from David Deck, who was the general manager of New Balance e-commerce at the time that we did the project. And, he wrote, "Laura, I wanted to let you know how inspired I was by you and your team's thoughtful approach to the design. It was clear you listened to our heart, passion, purpose, and looked for ways to create an environment that expresses us. The picture you painted about what our campus could be was inspiring and inspired an amazing interpretation of the type of environment we're looking for." So I think that really I love that.
awesome.
And then another one from Father Gregory Mormon. He's the headmaster of St. Louis Abbey and St. Louis Priory School. You absolutely exceeded my expectations. It was your ability to listen carefully, ask probing questions, and really delay the process of getting down to design issues until you had a solid grasp of what we were looking for. In fact, a better grasp than we did. That careful listening led you to propose a design far better than anything I had been anticipating. I would never have dreamt of, which served our purposes immensely well. You distinguish yourselves from other designers in the extent to which you listen to us and the quality of your ability to take what you heard and turn it into an exciting design concept.
Amazing.
And I know that they use that dining hall to help attract adolescent boys,
Oh,
which is
wow.
a big deal, right?
Those are such great testimonials. So one of the things that I really heard in those testimonials, Laura, is really the approach that you can take with clients because you are a smaller firm. You are able to give such a high level of service and really high touch support with their vision and then expand on that and make it even better. I'm sure big firms do a great job, but the more people that you have, right, the more diluted sometimes that personal touch gets. So it doesn't mean they don't do great work, but I think that you get more the personal high touch between the client and the firm when you are a smaller type of boutique firm. Would you say that's accurate?
I'd like to think so. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how it can't be. I mean, really, that is to me, that's a big benefit to go with someone smaller that can still deliver big results, right? Can still deliver the big, everything that someone wants. So,
and truly, if we have a project that's too large for us to do, it isn't that we wouldn't do it. We just need to bring in partners
right.
to help us do that. And quite honestly, the large firms do that too. Large firms aren't experts in everything. So when they need something that they need an expertise, they bring somebody in too. It's not that they are the end all as well. Everybody in our industry has to partner for one reason or another. You do it between the engineering, the architecture, the kitchen consultants, there's just so many different aspects, thousands and thousands of different pieces to putting together a site and a building.
And you are brought in a lot on huge projects where there might be multiple different firms that are brought in on those. So
we worked on a project, and at this point we were a subconsultant to an engineer, and it was a $9,900,000 project, and there were 27 consultants.
Wow, that's a lot.
We were one of 27. So
that's a lot. Yeah. But that just also builds the credibility that you were brought in on such a large project as well. So if you didn't do such amazing work, those things wouldn't be happening and those jobs would not be coming to you. So,
and you have to play nicely in the sandbox or they don't invite you back.
We all have to do that, right?
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
Hi, friend. I have an exciting announcement. I hope you're enjoying this episode of Expert in You podcast, but I have to ask you, have you checked out the latest issue of Expert in You magazine yet? It's jam-packed with rich content, powerful strategies, inspiring stories, and so much more to help you elevate your business and personal growth. Don't miss out. Go grab your digital copy now and join our community of experts making a difference every day. Go to expertinyoumagazine.com and check out your digital copy today. Transform your expertise into success with Expert in You magazine. It's not just a publication, it is a movement.
So we talked about some of the how you kind of create the emotional connection, the inspiration. We talked about performance and all of those pieces. But one of the things that you talk about is that every project in some way, shape, or form has a return on their investment. And I'd like to just dive into that a little bit.
What do you mean by that?
So it means different things to different clients,
Mm-hmm.
different peoples, because there are the tangible return on investment, right? And then there's the intangible. The tangible being, we have accolades or testimonials from clients that were thrilled that we were able to bring things in budget and on time. And, budget is a huge thing because I don't care how good your design is. If you can't bring it in budget, then it's not going to happen. Right.
Right.
And nobody's happy. And the same thing with the time frame, because time frame is about money also, right?
Mhm.
Whether you
Right.
can move in your clients or not.
Time is money.
Yeah, right. Time is money. And I think that our ability to collaborate is great. When we did the Priory cafeteria that we talked about, we spent more time in the design and the construction documents than they did in the construction. It was done in 14 days.
Wow.
The entire remodel, because they had a time crunch. Well, that meant, doing some work out on the site, making sure that we could collaborate, and we had no RFIs because we were on site a lot. And also, it helps to minimize change orders, because change orders basically are surprises that you don't anticipate.
And you
That's
don't
never a
want
good thing, right? So those would be the kinds of things that are the tangible things. For example, we just finished doing a facelift on a shopping mall. It's an outdoor shopping mall, Claymont Shopping Center. And one of the reasons the agent went to the owner, because she could not get people interested, and it was mostly empty.
because
And
people are
so,
visual.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So we made these changes, we made this design, gave it a new image, a new feel, and it wasn't arbitrary, and it doesn't look like all the other strip malls, which, somebody comes out with a good idea and all of a sudden you see the same idea popping up.
Right.
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 But the ideas came from the context of the area, and she has most of it leased out already.
Oh,
And
that's
so she's really happy with us for
there's an
that.
ROI right there. Yes.
Right there, right.
You talk about intangible, but I think everything in some way, shape, or form can almost become tangible.
Right. Eventually it does, because the intangible is that if somebody is comfortable and happy in their space and they feel connected, then they're going to perform better. And
Right.
that's what most companies want of their employees, is to
Right.
perform better, and that's what, the three things that you need to be happy is to be a part of something bigger than yourself, to be connected and to be engaged
Right.
mostly. And then at the end, is to have a nice environment. And I think that a lot of times the environments are created just as function and make them pretty, right? But they don't necessarily connect
Right.
with the people. And if you have a mission, we're experts at making the building and the environment talk about your mission. So a lot of times people just make it functional, right? And then they slap some pretty colors on it. And that's not really the same, or they call it branding, but that's not really the same as connecting to the culture and really understanding the depth of where a company comes from, who they are today, and what they aspire to be. And then to be able to connect architectural elements that
Right.
resonate with the people that are doing it, because culturally, everybody has a different association with different things, right? Even
Right.
you think in science, some people here in the United States say to put Vaseline on your wounds as they heal, right? You go to Italy and they say, never put Vaseline on your, well, wait a minute. This is a science, isn't it? But it's still, unless you understand where it's coming from, it's really difficult for you to be able to hone in on what's really pertinent or not.
Also, if you're thinking about commercial spaces or spaces where performance is a factor, the people are a factor, if you don't stay updated, if you don't have an environment that is inspirational for people, you also can't get the employees that you want. It even goes deeper than that. People don't want to stay in that environment. Your environment is so crucial and so essential for anything that you do in a company or a business, even a home. If a home's really outdated, just like
that strip mall was, it wasn't getting any attention, right? It wasn't getting the people that were even interested in it. And that's just, people are visual and people are emotional. And I love how you pull that into your spaces. And that's just something I hadn't really thought about before.
Yeah, and it is all of those things. It is also, the science behind that people feel better in natural daylight. It's all the biophilic information that's coming out. It is, when you speak about trends, the problem with following a trend is that it's trendy, right?
Right.
When you do something that connects to an organization's core, unless that core changes, it's always valid.
It's a foundation.
Does it mean you can't give a fresh coat of paint? No, you do have to give it a fresh coat of paint, right? But in general, their philosophy, their core, it's like people, right? People evolve, but in the end, they have a core that doesn't typically change. And if that core does change, well, then it's a big deal. And in which case then you have to reflect those things as well.
It's so interesting. I wonder how many people think about architecture and design this way or give it much thought, right? We see what we see, and it's such a different way to look at it. And I know that you actually studied a lot of the neuroscience things even many, many years ago, and all of that connection. And so how you have worked that in to your firm, I think is really amazing, because now we hear so much about neuroscience and the impact it has on so many things but you've been really a front runner and a trailblazer with that.
To really connect with what you're saying, there is an Academy of Neuroscience for Architecture, and I'm a member of that. I wish that had been around in 1983,
Right.
when I was really starting all of that. But yeah, there's
You're
just
way
a lot
ahead
to
of the
learn.
game now. You're way ahead.
And one of the things that's really interesting too is that, we study past civilizations by the environments they leave behind, right? And we make up stories about why they were the way they were, why they built what they built. So that's the way we should start our architectures. What do we want people to know about us? How is our environment going to do that?
Yes, I love that. So Laura, your firm has really kind of a method or process, a system that you take your clients through when you bring on a new project. And I would just love, it's actually what LNB stands for. And I would love for you just to talk about that a little bit and tell us what LNB stands for and how that actually aligns with your process.
Sure. So the L is for listen, and we listen deeply according to our clients. When we do that intentionally. We try to capture their vision by listening deeply and aligning with their goals and leading with purpose to deliver meaningful results. And the N is navigate, because we need to help them go from complexity to clarity. And, clarity is power.
Explain that just a little bit. Is it just like getting all those ideas out of their head and curating them into something that is going to give them what they want?
Well, it's almost like putting together a puzzle that does not have a picture. So, you get all this information, and you have to ask information that they don't know they have to give you. If you just listen to what they say, it's not enough.
Right.
You have to have the probing questions that leads you to the answers that you feel you need. And so, after that, we do analysis. So we start putting things together, and then we usually come up with a concept statement. And that statement, like a piece of art, which usually will reflect some political climate, or, art is not usually just beautiful. It can be, but it has a mission, a purpose, a message. And that's what we're trying to do. So we have to get to that level of involvement. But then we help them navigate through this complex journey, right, of planning, the design, and the construction. And we transform our work, from an expense to a smart investment in the project quality, through predictability and a focus with an on time and in budget delivery.
Okay.
And if those,
Listen and navigate.
and then we build, but we're not contractors, but we're building the design vision. And then we discern the execution, right? And then we
Right.
deliver it with precision. And we build their vision through the design, through listening, through translating ideas into actionable plans. And we apply quality management throughout the whole thing. And that's about the precision. And we do that throughout the design and the construction process because ultimately, we want to bring it to life for the best purpose and reliability, which is
Right.
important. We've talked a lot about the intangible things, but the tangible things, we get back to it, is that the building is tangible and the
Right.
businesses are tangible. And so we always have to bring it back to that.
Awesome. So is there something that we haven't covered in this podcast that you would like to make sure you share as we wrap this up?
Well, I'd like to share that just because we're small doesn't mean that we're not competent.
You're experts.
We are.
That's why you're on the Expert in You podcast.
That's right. And when large organizations are afraid to give a smaller company work and they say they don't want you to cut your teeth on their project, well, we're not cutting. We weren't born yesterday. We've been in business 34 years.
Right.
And there aren't a lot of businesses that can say that.
That's right.
And I would rather turn down a project if I wasn't 100% sure that we could do a great job, because it only takes one project to ruin, 34 years of a great reputation. And so I would never do that to the client, and I would never do that, for us.
I want to just say that is a true expert. That's a true pro when they will actually walk away from business because they feel like it's not the right fit. That is always how I can distinguish if someone is an expert or a pro at what they do when they say things like that, because that shows the integrity, the character, and valuing who you are as a company, that it's not just about the dollar. It's not just about the money. It's about reputation. And so that goes deeper. And experts and pros care about reputation as much as they care about making money. And a lot of people don't think like that.
I didn't know that.
So just had to point that out.
Yeah, well, thank you.
I love this. This has been such a great conversation. I also want to say, though, I'm going to give you a little plug here. Laura was also invited to contribute an article to Expert in You magazine, and she is going to be in the 2025 fall edition. And it's a beautiful article. It talks about her immigrant roots and her company, and it goes a little bit deeper into these things. And so I want to invite you to also check that article out when that magazine comes out. It's just beautifully written, and there's some very cool pictures in there of her, like her immigrant family, and just the things that will just really connect you to her and what she does and the business that she's built. So I just had to put that in there as well. But also you can check more of their projects and the things that beautiful work. You can check all of those things out on their website as well. And then you can connect with Laura on LinkedIn. And we're going to put all of those links and everything in the show notes. Laura, final words for anyone listening that might want to hire you as a firm.
Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you.
That's pretty to the point.
And thank you so much for this. It's been delightful. And I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It's been so much fun having you on the show, and I can't wait for people to see you and get to know you more on a personal level. So thank you for sharing your expertise.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure you share it. And I know people out there that are in the world that could use Laura and her firm. And again, she said it. Not a lot of people can say they've been around for 30 plus years. We know businesses go out of business all the time. You're still here. You are still thriving and just doing amazing things and beautiful work out there. So thank you for being here. So share it, everyone. And until next time, God bless you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
The The content of this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Although I share strategies, ideas, and success stories based on real experiences, results are never guaranteed. Every business is unique, and outcomes depend on individual effort, market conditions, and many other factors. By listening, you agree that I and my guests are not responsible for your results or actions based on the content shared. Thank you for tuning in today. If you're as excited as I am about scaling up your influence, business, and bank account, then I have just the thing for you. But first, make sure you subscribe to the show. Second, make sure you share it with someone you care about, because sharing is caring. And third, head on over to join me in my next free virtual exclusive workshop, where we'll explore proven strategies to boost your business and maximize your potential. Look, it doesn't matter if you're just starting out or if you're looking to take your business to the next level, my workshops are designed for you. So head on over to expertinyouworkshop.com to reserve your spot and get ready to transform your expertise into extraordinary success. I'm looking forward to seeing you there and helping you achieve incredible growth. Until next time, make sure you're always seeking the expert in you, and God bless. Have an amazing day.